Hello people and welcome back to another episode of Clubhouse with me, Ben.
And me, Josh. In today's episode, we talk about Dana White's UFC Slap Championship. We also talk about Joe Rogan being under fire again.
And this week's topic of the week is getting caught up with the latest health fads. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. We'll be releasing a brand new episode every single week.
So with that being said, stay tuned and let's go. Talk about Slap Fight UFC, the Slap Fight Championship. So I'll quickly explain it because I've watched a couple episodes and I know you're not as up to date. So on YouTube over the years, slap fighting has become a lot more popular. There was in the Slap Fight Championships there was these two beasts. One was called Darius, one was called Wolverine, right? And they went for I think it's 36 round slap marathon. As you're watching it, it's quite comical and hilarious because you see like the dazedness that comes over them, like rounds in.
Do they do slow-mo?
They do slow-mo, yeah. They do super slow-mo. It's great. and they were classed as like the two best in the sport. So Dana White has started the UFC Slap Championship, where he's got a load of people together and they do these slaps. And the two coaches are those two people from like who'd done well in the sport when it was just on YouTube. So he's obviously trying to capitalize on it, make a bit of money out of it. I said this to you earlier. From an outside perspective, yeah, it looks like such a silly idea in the fact that, you know how when someone gets with a girl, like a girlfriend, and they can't see that this girl's bad for them. Like they don't have a clue, you know what I mean? They've just got this blindness. But everyone who's not in the circle, or everyone even in the circle that's just looking from the outside in knows,
dude, this is a bad idea.
This is a bad idea. This isn't going to work out. It's so fucking obvious. You're the only person that can't see it, right? That's what this slap fight thing looks to. He's so happy when he's watching it. And I was just like, mate, you look deluded. Like, you got the UFC, which is literally professional mixed martial arts, the best in the world.
Elite.
Yeah. And this slap thing is so stupid.
I can't believe he's done it. I just don't get it, mate. I just think it's so ridiculous. And also dangerous. 36 slap marathon.
Yeah.
Undefended hit to the head.
Yeah,
36 times in a row.
Yeah. So that one was from the slap fight, but in his one, the rules are it's just 3 rounds. It's 3 rounds. Slap, 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 slap.
How'd you win? Knock them out?
Knock them out. Judges score it.
No.
If whose 3 slaps are better. And the funny thing is, it's very, very rare. Out all the episodes I've watched so far, which is every episode that's been released, it never really goes to a judge's scorecard.
Okay.
You can get foul. There's fouling, so it's where you club, where you hit someone with more of a punch as opposed to a slap. If you lift your feet up to help you get more of a swing, and if you flinch, they get another go. Right. So what was I gonna say? Mate, there's a character in it called Slap Jesus. They all have like very peculiar names,
nicknames.
The only thing is, right, they all look, I don't know how to say it politely. Yeah, they're very questionable characters. They all like love alcohol, so he stuck them in a house, a bit like a reality TV show, like he does with the Contenders. So they're all living in a house. They drink together, get drunk. And then you see promos of each one, so you see their life at home, and it's just like a bunch of party animals that are
certain type of person
that are obviously willing to get slapped, and they think they're so skilled, and it's very cringy when it goes to the cutscenes, and you can tell the producer's gone, slag off your opponent or big yourself up, and he's like, one slap from Nidal, you'll go to sleep. This is sleeping tablets in my palm. Nobody can withstand an open palm slap from me.
That's the thing that I don't get. They're trying to put the UFC model on a game of slaps that you play down the pub with your mate.
Exactly, and it looks so
cringy,
so hilarious. So one of the biggest, me and Ethan were watching it and we were just like, this doesn't make no sense. So one guy went through, yeah? So this guy leant back, buff, put this guy in heaven, right? This guy's on the floor, shaking, pretty much convulsing. The ref said that you lifted up your feet, so it's a foul. So the other guy went through. So the guy that got sparked got to go through to the next round. There's so many like flaws. Okay, and this is like the major. What the fuck? Sorry, what is going on? It's decided by a coin toss when they do the weight and they do there's a red team and a blue team. Sounds like Pokemon, doesn't it? So you do a coin toss. Who wants to go first? Everyone says, I'll go first. One guy said he can go first. Got killed.
He got knocked out.
Got killed.
First slap.
Dana's like, that's why you don't show off. You're not here to prove anything in that sort of sense. So whoever's winning the coin toss and going first is winning. Like 80% of the fights. And you're seeing full-grown, hard, like big, scary dudes getting knocked out in one slap.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. It's because it's undefended as well.
It's an undefended.
It's like a cheap shot.
It's like a cheap shot. That's exactly what
isn't it?
It's exactly a cheap shot. The only ones that ever go the distance are someone with like a mediocre slap where it stings, but you can take it and then you can give one back. The heavyweights are just jawing people.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's comical, but it's not.
Surely there's not that much money in this.
I don't know,
but I guess like
they want to start.
People watch it because it's comical, don't they?
Yeah, so he wants to make it into like a division, like with league. So if you win this, you have the belt in that division, and then we'll open it up, I guess, for like the rest of the world to join in.
Imagine someone like a kid going home to their mum like, "I'm gonna be the slap, what is it, USC?
Yeah, the
UFC slap champion of the world. I'm gonna do it, mum.
Mum, I want to be just like I just want to be just like Slap Jesus."
Yeah, it's a strange thing, yeah. But I guess he's not stupid, is it? He's like helped build the UFC, so maybe he sees something we don't, or maybe he's in a bad relationship.
I know, yeah.
He can't get out.
Yeah, it's insanely bizarre. I just don't get it. And what's gonna happen is this is why it looks like that relationship analogy I gave at the beginning. Is that something's gonna go wrong. Someone's just gonna get slapped dead. Or, you know, if it lasts a while, someone's going to get brain damage or something, which is obviously very serious and scary. And these men who are obviously not smart enough themselves to kind of say, like, you know, what does the future hold for me? You know? But they go to the cutscenes and he's like, I'm doing this for my little daughter. I'm doing this for my family. I haven't seen them in weeks. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for my family. This means everything to me. Into the fight.
They probably dramatized that,
yeah, lying on the floor. They've had to throw people out of it for like drinking, starting fights in the gaff.
Yeah. There's this class quote kind of reminds me of this, where it's like, I can't remember the quote, but it's like something to do with the Roman circus, where it's like when there's civil unrest, they roll the circus into town to keep the people happy and just feed them shit and distract them with nonsense and
monkeys and that.
Yeah. That reminds me of that.
That is it, and that's exactly what it looks like. It's. I don't know what Dana White's up to. I checked his net worth. Apparently, it's 500 million. So it's not like he needs a quick bag.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the other thing I was going to say. Like, it is funny to watch, and then it's not funny to watch. You know what I mean? Like,
brutal.
A bit too brutal. So you'll see someone you're like, this is funny. I just got slapped in the face. Funny, boom, knockout. Their body stiffens up. Like, there's this guy's, and he's pretty much having a fit. I mean, and medics run over, put him on his side while he's having a fit. Like the last guy I got knocked out. He's knocked out. One said, he said, "Where am I?" And then the guy said, "You're knocked out. You're at a flat fight event in UFC." And he says, "Why am I knocked out? Was I fighting?"
Even though it's a slap, if you think about the difference, if you're in a UFC fight, you're both moving, you're both punching at the same time, you're on your feet, you're thinking about not getting punched before you throw your punch, they get a free shot. They get to wind up, no defense, no movement, so they're always going to hit clean. So the power and the force probably... Yeah, they're probably getting hit harder than people in the UFC fights.
Yes, that is 100% true, and they're hitting your cranium. Straight
your brain
to the
just
skull.
bouncing
The only
around.
thing like on par in importance with your heart is your brain.
Yeah,
you're nothing without your brain. So let me just rock it side to side
for entertainment
purposes. and then we're gonna slow-mo it on camera. You see their spit flying, like it's super
Do they wear
detailed.
gumshoes?
They don't wear nothing, no.
No.
It's free. They get to chalk up their hand and everything and then stand there.
How would you train for that? Just slap a
Oh, well,
bat.
yeah, well, that's another funny thing that you say that is that cut to Dana White. We need to know the science behind this. This is going to take over the world. This is the most important days of their lives. So they go into the gym, and they're there, and they're slapping pads. Yeah, and it almost looks comical. And they'll hold a weight ball, and they'll chuck a weight ball up and round like
To
they're
get to the
slapping.
slap. I'd love to see a training montage of
And it is that comical. So they've got those two coaches,
I reckon
red team versus blue team.
won't be long before Family Guy or something does a
Parody.
get on this,
Yeah. And so, but that's it. Like when you see people lying and having fits and that.
Is Joe Rogan on it? Is it just Dana
No,
White?
it's just Dana White. With these weird like workers that work for him who look like they're enjoying it a bit too much. It's like looks like that's turning you on, and that's weird. And then like he's drooling and Dana White's drooling, and they're like, "Oh, did you see that?" Like really shocked that this guy
Got knocked out. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah. So it's I don't know where it's gonna go, and the fact they're doing it like a reality, you know, in a house with booze and you go on any video and read the comments. Everyone's like, "What? I can't stop watching, but I don't want to be watching."
But maybe that's it. Maybe that's why he's in it, because he knows that people are they don't want to watch it, but they're gonna, because it's you can't look away.
Yeah, these are mean guys as well, man. It's proper tough, like
Big boys.
yeah.
I've seen it before on YouTube ages ago, but yeah, I didn't think that it would be under the UFC umbrella.
We'll see what happens. You could just never. There's no skill to it. I think like obviously I would
brute force.
It's just brute force. Yeah, I watch the UFC and that's
skill.
Because it's so talented, so
Body discipline, different martial art.
There you go, man. You know what I mean? You spent your life learning how to tackle, learning how to strangle, chokehold. You might be like a professional in one certain thing, submissions or something. You're really cool at that. So it's like, oh yeah, this is good. And then in slap fighting, you just have to lean back and wallop them. Oh man, poor men. And like, it's a widely known how controversial the pay wage for UFC fighters is.
Yeah. Slap fighters.
Man. And how annoyed would you be as if that got more pay? Or at one point it got that
big that it was more pay.
Yeah, could you imagine? You'd end up having a boycott.
It's got that like comedic value though, which might mean more people watch it. Like if you're not really super into fighting, but you'd watch that because it's got a bit of comedic value. So what if it did get bigger than UFC?
I know.
A superstar, like a Conor McGregor of the slap world.
Yeah, it would get down to that. So it's funny as well because, like, first episode, this guy, I can't remember his name, is fighting another guy, One-Eyed Wolf. And the One-Eyed Wolf keeps looking at the crowd and shouting, "Did you see that? I ate that. I ate that shit." And then the Rogans and Dana White says, "Oh, we've just spoke to the doctors. You can't continue. They don't want you getting slapped with one eye."
What, you got pulled?
And he got pulled, and then he wasn't landing it after he just got slapped the shit out of. It's like, yeah, the Nevada, USADA or
They've
whatever
called
they're
it.
called. Yeah, you can't.
The fact that they've even let this go ahead.
One-Eyed Wolf.
No, like
anyone,
like the Nevada Gambling Commission or whoever the fighting commission have agreed to let this slap competition go ahead.
Yeah, they've had to like
approve it. Yeah.
So I've seen another thing that scientists were saying, or people that have disapproved of this, saying your body does something else when you tense up for a smack to the face as opposed to a relaxed body. So it's a lot worse for your brain. If I'm about to slap someone and they're like, because that's what they do. They obviously tense because they're about to get smacked. So apparently how your brain absorbs is the shock is a lot different from just accepting, like, not really knowing.
How hard would that be to not tense up?
Well, yeah, then you're going to get knocked out. It's like, it's a damned if you do, damned if you do.
Yeah.
It's damned if you do twice. There's no damned if you don't.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. yeah. There's no damned if you don't. It's a win-win if you don't. It's a lose-lose if you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be good to see what happens. They release an episode every couple of days. Like you said, it's entertaining. Sometimes it's a little bit sickly. Sometimes like, damn, is that more? Sometimes it's like, is that exploitation of, you know, just general people trying to make a better lives for themselves
Yeah.
because they all seem like a bunch of
How did they end up there, eh?
yeah,
It's not like that. It's
hillbillies.
probably not like a big, like, yes, there's not loads of slap competitions going on.
No,
Things like that.
No, exactly. And that you can tell when they're talking, it goes to the camera cutoffs that they're really trying to make a life for themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
It's a tough one, right?
Getting slaps horrible.
It's just, yeah, silly.
But yeah, watch it, and you want to see some of the machines that are getting put down for just one slap. Absolute animals.
Yeah, I've seen a few adverts for it. It's big boys. Very big boy.
Oh, wait, think about it too long. I watched an episode last night with my brother, and I was blinking, and I was like, I just can't believe
I still can't believe
this is where we are. Like, this
where,
is true.
where society's heading.
Yeah, I'm chilling with you right now, and we're watching this.
A serious, competitive, highly sponsored slap tournament.
Yeah, what's next? The Hunger Games.
Hey, probably.
Cool. Right, we'll move on for that. That's hilarious. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then comment how you feel about it. Next, we're going to talk about Joe Rogan finding himself in hot water again.
Shock.
I know. So, do you have that quote?
I don't. My phone's out of battery. But I was basically on a podcast with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but supposedly anti-Semitic comments. And I think what happened is someone said all about the Benjamins, and they tried to say that was anti-Semitic. And he said something like, it's not. And then he's like, saying Jewish people don't like money is like saying Italian people don't like pizza. And he's now anti-Semitic and doesn't like Jews.
Like, come on, man. That's not anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic is, to me, is something that's very...
Hatred of Jews.
Hatred of Jews. Yes, thank you. So just nod to basically a stereotype.
Yeah, to acknowledge a stereotype and say, use it in the way of like explaining away like, you're not anti-Semitic. I think these big words get thrown around far too easily. That it takes away from people who are genuinely anti-Semitic.
Yes.
You got someone who genuinely hates Jews and it's on their agenda to, I don't know, to not make Jews suffer, but they hate them. And then you got Joe Rogan who made a bad joke. Well, it wasn't even a bad joke. It was just using a normal stereotype. And now they're in the same category. They're anti-Semitic. It's like, it just, yeah.
Yeah, and come on, Joe Rogan, the comedian, literally famous for telling
jokes, famous for having a podcast where he discusses like whatever the fuck he wants, with whoever he wants.
And I think as well, like these people that get annoyed about it and then want to like ostracize someone for it, they start a fire that wouldn't have been created had they not shone light on it. And then,
yeah,
so like they're calling him anti-Semitic, so that might get 10,000 people to quiz what's anti-Semitic. They look into it. Oh, not liking Jews. Oh, maybe I want to do that.
And then they start finding articles that actually are against Jews because they're Googling anti-Semitic or they're...
And then they might have actually birthed some anti-Semitic people.
Yeah.
By pretending this one guy who isn't anti-Semitic is.
Oh, mate, it's a weird one with him, isn't it? Because it's like, I think it's probably different for us because we've consumed so much of his content. It's just like, baffles us how people can label him as these things. But yeah, I think it is like, I wonder if he finds it hard at all. Like, imagine we do a podcast. Imagine we've probably said like a couple of silly throwaway things, stereotypes. Imagine like our whole character was getting laid out there, getting labelled things that we're not or we've never believed. I wonder how that is to handle. You know?
I was literally just thinking about that. Like, how disheartening would it be if you sat with a professional on a very topic that needs to be talked about and spoke for 3 hours and you said 5,000 sentences in that 2 hours and they ignore everything else. You've just gave loads of information and very nice like amount of info to a wide audience and all you're remembered for is just that little part. It reminds me of this video, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen it on YouTube. It's kind of like satire. So a man like a lad. I don't know if he's in like a outside a college dorm or he's in the streets of America, right? And he's got a poncho on, so he's dressed up as a Mexican, an English kid dressed up as a Mexican. Have you seen it?
I think I've
And
seen
he
it.
goes up to like loads of different Americans, goes up to a girl our age, a boy our age, an adult, and says, "How do you feel about me wearing this?" Right? And then they're like, "You should not be doing that."
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, that's cultural appropriation. That's actually racist. How do you think people that really are Mexican would feel? So you're trying to pretend to be a Mexican, really have this passion of like, oh, you're so disgusting. What are you doing? That's rude. You can't be doing that. He gets on a bus. He goes down to Mexico. He walks into loads of bars dressed as a Mexican, interviews loads of different actual Mexicans. Like, hey, and they're like, wait.
They love it.
They love it, mate. They love it. And it just goes to show you that people getting pissed off are getting pissed off for...
On behalf of people that aren't even pissed off themselves.
That's literally it in a nutshell. Getting pissed off for people that aren't even pissed off themselves. It's... How do you know a bunch of Jews was like, yeah, man, we fucking do love
Yeah,
life.
yeah. I don't know. It's
That's
such
true,
a
Joe.
weird... Because it's like a silly stereotype, yeah. And I bet... I couldn't speak. I don't know because I don't know many Jewish people as such. But I bet they all joke about it in their communities. Maybe like the same way most stereotypes in that community you would joke about. I bet Italians always joke about food they love and the pasta pizza and things like that. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and it's not even a bad thing to say someone loves money.
Yeah, why is
Why
that
is
bad?
anti-Semitic? If you said they are X, Y, B, very insultive sort of cursive words, you picked up on their physical appearance and said every single one of them looks like this.
Yeah,
that could be classed as
like
anti-Semitic.
Asian people are smart.
Yeah,
Why would that be
like
a negative?
that's nice.
That's a good thing to say, isn't it? To tell anyone they were smart, but the minute you put like a race in front of it, it's like
you can't say that.
Yeah.
Like, no, motherfucker, we are smart. Like, remember, we are.
We own it. We want to be. We are smart. Yeah.
So it's difficult.
But yeah, I think I don't know. Again, it's like we talk about it a lot recently, but it's what sells, mate. Controversy.
So with Rogan, obviously, he's found himself in like a lot of hot water. So he's now on Spotify, right? Since he's been on Spotify, a lot of people have had an issue with that. He was on YouTube and it's like, obviously he had his haters and whatever, but Spotify was like this big thing. He gets a £200 million Spotify deal. Certain artists, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, they're taking their music off of Spotify. They don't want anything to do with this company. But do you know what I think why I don't get so, but it pisses me off, right? Is that if you don't like what he says, yeah, that's okay, don't listen to him. But the worldwide media agencies are the most biased people in the world that live off agendas. So if you're reading the Daily Mail, the Sun, the New York Times, the Washington Post, that's no different. But they're all because I don't know why, but they're accepted.
Yeah, and also like for me as well, it's like that whole thing with those artists saying they write in that letter for him to come off Spotify when they were outraged. Because you don't like something, thinking you then have the right to tell a company that they can't promote something because you don't like it, or other people shouldn't be allowed to listen to it because you didn't like it.
Yeah, that's a good point, mate.
Where does that
get off your high horse?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where did that idea come from? When did it become okay to your opinion to then be truth? And that, yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, there's too many people that think their opinion is not, let alone huge, but is valid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like everybody, you're entitled to your opinion, but because you feel that way, doesn't make it fact. You know, it doesn't make it that you. Yeah, but it's just the world we live in, isn't it? Is it a new thing, do you think, or has it always been there? Like, are we just aware of it now because we're more kind of? Or do you think there's always been that kind of self-righteous, I don't like this, so therefore it's wrong?
Yeah, you've brought up before that, like, certain things are more noticeable now, but they've always been around.
Maybe they've always been there.
Yeah, and I think media has just amplified our ability to see that. Social media and all that.
And, like, the ability to access on news and that from our phones, computers and that, where you wouldn't normally see it unless you bought a weekly paper, let's say. So maybe it's just in your face now, all day, every day. News, phone.
Because it does just seem to be all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet you if we did a little experiment, there would be a new controversy every day. Going forward.
Forever.
Every day, new controversy.
That's why, like, we hardly have a social media presence. Besides doing this podcast, besides going on to upload the pod, I don't go on nothing or scroll through nothing, because when I used to, I'm just like moany little bitch.
See, you're right for the pod, but I actually set up my personal Insta, and I'm back on Insta.
How have you been finding it?
It's alright. I was getting used to posting again, but it's so easy to get sucked in to scrolling and the reels and like seeing what other people are up to and that. So I try and only do it from the computer now, but yeah, I can see why
People are sucked in.
Yeah, it's so easy to get sucked in.
Yeah, I find Instagram would be one of the hardest, because it's not like Twitter and Facebook where you see people's opinions. You can, unless you look at comments, you can just see videos.
Yeah,
and videos are probably the most like
enjoyable, engaging thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's been a reminder.
Has it?
It's only been 2 weeks, I think.
Since you started it. Has your social media like playing on it?
Yeah, 100%. My screen time went up.
It's gone up a lot.
Yeah, so I would go on to post, and then I'd get a video would come up, and then I would save a post in draft, have to go back in, and then and now because I know it's there, that whole thing we were saying, if I'm waiting in the kitchen for the kettle to boil, phone out, Instagram, or if I'm waiting for whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's alright, like, it's good. I know, I've noticed it, so I just, wait, if you're on the computer, I always find computers you're less likely to get sucked in. It's the phone.
It's the phone, because it's so small.
So small, so convenient, it's just there in your pocket.
Yeah, computer's very big. You have to sit.
You're sat down, you're kind of feel like you should be working if you're sat at a desk. So
it has a completely different feeling.
Yeah.
But then again, what you just said, like, you've noticed it.
Yeah.
So how many easily manipulated people will never
notice it? Yeah, it's a good point.
And they just become like...
Or just accept it.
Yeah.
More likely that, or don't care,
yeah. Oh, man, that's a difficult one. But yeah, so... What else? Oh, yeah, so with Rogan... The minute he went on Spotify, there was like 200 health professionals that wrote a letter. Like, we were just talking about people's opinions, why are they so strong, who they think they should get other people fired. 200 people signed one letter to Spotify to say, don't do this, like, or get rid of him ASAP, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Employees walked out.
Which is crazy. I just think that's crazy. Even on this thing with all the controversy around him and COVID and spreading misinformation, it actually turns out that I think a lot of what he was talking about was correct. And not only was it correct, the government, WHO, have actually come out and confirmed a lot of the things they were talking about. So it's like hypocrisy, massive hypocrisy, trying to shut down somebody because they were just talking about ideas. You know him, he's not actively promoting stuff, he's just discussing these alternate ideas. He's not saying, I do not believe that, believe this. He's just saying this could be another possibility and discussing it with these guys. So yeah, it's
I know. What is the harm in people? I know what they say the harm is that is like it will misguide people, but you don't even know what you're talking about anyway, and that's fucking came to light, fruition. How obvious that is over things like COVID.
Yeah.
So you want to tell the world how to behave and who they should and shouldn't listen to when you acknowledged right now that you've got so many things wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones was the vaccine one. They were like, it's encouraging people not to get the vaccine, yeah. And since COVID settled down a bit and they've come out, at first it was like the vaccine's 100% effective. Then it was like it's 80% effective, 70% effective. Oh, now we think it's 60%. Actually, it's not really a vaccine, it's this.
Yeah.
Now it's not that. And it's like a lot of people would probably reconsider if they knew what they knew today then, whether or not they got the vaccine. And he was just discussing those ideas at the time and got really like a lot of heat for it, whereas it actually turned out to be correct.
No, they'll call you anything.
Mm.
They'll tell you you've got death on your hands.
It comes back to this question that we always circle around: was it with good intentions? Did the government and the people promoting the vaccine genuinely think, look, this is our only way out of this, therefore it's gonna cause harm if you're out there telling people that the vaccines aren't safe or they're not as effective as they're telling you and things like that? So was it just good intentions?
It's a difficult one. It's very rushed, that one, and forced down a lot of people's throats, which makes it.
There's a class, you need to watch it, podcast, Lex Friedman and CEO of Pfizer.
Yeah.
And they talk about how it was so fast, how they were able to do it so quickly, the tests they did, money they made, stuff they'd been fined for before. It's good.
Yeah, so does it give you a more appreciation of the truth?
Yeah, it gave me, not really the truth. It gave me a more of appreciation of like how they were able to do it so quickly. Discussions around how the testing works, the vaccine itself and things like that. But Lex is just a really good quality interviewer, so it's like a good conversation. He's not like got ya, but he's still asking good questions.
And yeah, I think that's why he's done so well for himself.
Mm.
Because when you actually watch him talk, he's one of those. He's not a character.
No.
He's not being extroverted and like,
No.
hey guys, you need to watch my video. Do you know what I mean? He will just look at you and he'll speak like this, right? And it's just talk like that. But it's how he conveys himself. It's the knowledge as how smart he is. But the fact what you just said, he'll ask all the questions you want to know.
Yeah.
That way and that way, the left and the right, the yes and the no.
And he's such a good thinker in that he challenges himself. Like you can see him like conflicted and that, and like I think this, but then I can see this.
Yeah, exactly. I got good appreciation from when he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And he's Joe Rogan, do you know what I mean? And he's just like, no, Joe. And just tells him straight.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, don't use those words. Don't
Your people.
Yeah.
Geek. It was what your people doing with the AI, and he's like, what do you mean your people, Joe?
Yeah. And there's another one. He's like, Leonard Cohen wrote a song about Janis Joplin giving him head in a hotel or something. And he's like, oh, that's quite skanky or something. Joe says that, and he's like, excuse me?
It's love.
Like, yeah, why'd you have to come at it from that angle?
He's very poetic and like in tune with his like, I don't know what you would call it, but he's his Kanye West one was
unreal.
That was just probably the best pod I've watched in a long time.
So he had the
just for like
say
everyone
else would not say in front of.
Also, just like the entertainment factor of Kanye, just like don't say Jewish media, JM.
Yeah, he was too funny. I wonder what he's up to now.
I think he's like in pretty deep trouble, mate. He lost his brand deals. He had to stop construction on this big house he was pumping millions into. Yeah, I don't think he's in a good place.
Yeah, they shut him up nice.
They did. We haven't heard from him, have we?
No. Cool. So, how do we wrap up Rogan? Is that it?
I think that's it, mate. On to topic of the week.
Topic of the week, we kind of wanted to talk about, right, like, obviously self-help is a huge thing at the moment, right? It's $1 billion industry. A lot of people's careers are leaning towards that. A lot of the content you see online is leading towards that.
A lot of the ideas we discuss.
As well. So we wanted to touch base on, like, not what's right and what's wrong, but how many of them are, how do you want to say, like,
I'd say fads, like, there's so much information out there. There's so many new fads. There's so many new ideas. It feels like a new one every week.
Yeah,
I'm an absolute sucker for them. Like, I will absolutely jump on any new fad. But it's kind of like, yeah, I guess we just wanted to talk about this idea of when you immerse yourself in the world of self-improvement, you say, yeah, I want to be better. I'm going to try and be better. Maybe like where to start. Fads, are they good? Are they bad?
Yeah. We wanted to try and zone in on, like, the actual importance of it in its, like, longevity for a good life.
Yeah.
Like, it's very plausible to have a good life without having to, spend so much time and effort trying to correct these things that the self-help, prophecy points towards.
Yeah.
And you could still actually just live a normal life where you don't
And have a good life.
a good life.
Yeah.
Where you don't have, exactly, a good life where you don't have to worry about all these things you're told to worry about.
Yeah, 100%. You
So-
don't need a 16-step morning routine. You
Mhm.
don't have to eat at 11:38 every fucking morning.
No.
You can drink more than just black coffee. Like these little things.
Yes, precisely. And so
Yeah.
that's what I think we wanted to zone in on that and just speak about that, because we talk about self-help. Like, when I say self-help, it's just like, these little intricate things that help improve your life.
Yeah.
Sleep, food, showers, blah 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 blah. But it just seems to be everywhere at the moment, and like you said, a new one every single week.
And like, maybe I can speak to like why I jump on them. Yeah, so like, and it's maybe just like I always think like, optimize. Can I optimize things that I have to do anyway? So like eat, sleep. I have to do both of those things, right? So I have this idea in my head that it just makes sense for them to be the best that they can be because I have to do them anyway. Yeah. So let's just make them good. But then it leads me to like, I've had so many different sleep routines. I bought a brand new, like, it's called the 8 Sleep mattress. It's supposed to heat and cool your body temperature throughout the night.
How
I've
much
had,
is that?
it was
How
about
mu-
3 grand.
How much is that?
3 grand. I've had like 10 different diets in the space of 2 years because I'm just trying to find that little edge all the time, that little bit of improvement.
Mm.
And I think where I can go wrong probably is that you don't need that little bit of improvement. You just need the core foundation. Like, if you just do the basics, you're going to get like 80-90% of your results from the basics. Yeah. So like, worrying about these 1% tweaks and that, it's just like, it's probably not worth the effort.
There
They're
you
like,
go.
the effort versus the reward probably isn't there. But I'm guilty of it. Like, everyone that knows me will laugh. I'm always on the new thing. I'm always trying something different. I'm always kind of doing something crazy, one of these new fads. But
Yeah. No, I think you've made some great points there. Because I do remember me and you having a discussion at one point, when we're talking on the topic of sleep, and you were saying like, right, I've got these gadgets now that like tell me my sleeping pattern, how much I slept, and you said, the over-analyzation of me trying to track my sleep is stopping me from sleeping.
I'm actually in that space at the minute, mate. I track my sleep a lot, and I got a ring that tracks certain stats. I got my Apple Watch and that, and I think I need to go like, have a little detox from tracking. But I'm at this point now where the stats are dictating how I feel. Where if I don't get enough deep sleep, and my HRV is this, I'm gonna feel tired that day.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And like, I do think there is initially like a benefit in tracking your sleep because you can see actually, and at least for like a couple month period, you get a good idea of what your sleep's like. But then I think you can really overanalyze it, and you can get in your head a little bit with all these stats that you get, to the point, like you said, where it's like, I'm not sleeping now because I'm worried that I'm laying in bed at 9:30 thinking, shit, I was supposed to be asleep at 9 because I've got to be up at 5. I'm only going to have 6 hours sleep, which means I know that my my HRV is going to probably be low tomorrow. I'm going to be tired. I'm not going to be able to do this. Where it's probably not healthy.
No, exactly.
Worse than actually just not tracking anything and just
going
by
to sleep.
feel, and going to sleep. Sorry, yeah.
That's how I kind of do. But before that, so do you think like there's an element of placebo in that as well, because you've told yourself like what you just basically everything you just explained?
Without a doubt.
I was meant to get 8. I know for a fact now I'm only going to get 6. I'm going to be tired tomorrow now.
Without a doubt. And mate, I've had days like before I was into all this and like before I was tracking that, like, I can get up on 6 hours sleep, bang out a 12-hour day at work, go for a run, have dinner, and I'm fine. But the minute I start getting in my head, like telling myself, you've only had 6 hours sleep, you should have had 8. 8's the recommended. And it all stems from that. Do you remember Matthew Walker podcast with Joe Rogan?
No.
Did you ever listen to it?
No.
I wish I never listened to it, man. It's this sleep therapist or sleep expert goes on the Rogan, and he's basically like, lack of sleep is the worst thing you can do for yourself. Increased heart disease risk, Alzheimer's, rattles off all these health problems that you can get from like low sleep. And it just sent me on this path of being like obsessed with my sleep.
And I find they throw in proper scaremongering tactics with that sort of information. I'll hit you with, you don't have to worry about it tomorrow, but see, when you're 40, you'll just drop dead
This
and
is
have
it.
Alzheimer's.
That's exactly what he says. And he's like, when you hit 30, 40, your testosterones are going to drop. You're going to be, and I was just, yeah. But,
sorry, mate.
Go on.
All right, and then it's like, but look how long we've been around and the world's been spinning for. There's old people everywhere. They haven't followed none of this.
It's so true, mate. Honestly, it's that's why I think sometimes as well, like, I don't know, it's good. I think it's not a bad thing to focus and try and improve the quality of your sleep. So I think there is a lot of research that says good quality sleep is beneficial for so many different reasons, but it can easily go too far with it, which I think I have, definitely have.
Yeah, so its importance might not, like what you said, it becomes a crux then instead.
It does, yeah.
I find I'm quite like intuitive with my own body, right? And I know what to do before bed and what not to do, how I'm gonna feel the next day, and that's it. And it's a couple of things. And I don't have no smartwatch, no nothing like that. I don't know my heart rate usually. I don't do anything like that, right? So if I go to bed at like 10 or 11 on a weeknight and get up for 7, I'll be sound. Before I go to bed, I need to either do some reading, either get out of the house, get out of the house, or like playing a game that's not on a screen, you know, like a game of chess or something.
Yeah.
With me, like I'll have a good sleep then. If I watch TV too late, I will not have a good sleep, no matter what. It doesn't matter. If I'm engaging in
nocturnal
activities with my partner too late into the night, I will wake up and I'll feel fried, because you know, you go straight to bed after it, and it's like, you know, you wouldn't go to the gym and then not have any water, and I don't have really another glass of water, so I sleep okay, but it's when you wake up you feel it. And honestly, there's like a window of like an hour or two that can make a difference, like, or not. And that's it. I know how my sleep is, if I'm gonna have a bad day or a good day.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's weird as well. You see, on the weekends, I can go to bed 1 a.m. I can get up at 7 for work, that means I'm going to sleep a lot later than I would in a weekday. But I'm getting up around the same time, and I'm fine. It's so fine.
I read this book once, right, called Miracle Morning, and it's about early mornings and having a morning routine. But he says exactly the same. He lays it out. He's like, it's mind over matter, and he uses that example. He's like, how many times have you gone to bed late on the weekend and then got up on a Saturday because you've got something exciting you want to do, or you've got a flight to catch, and you feel full of energy, full of beans.
There you go.
He's like, it's a lot of it is mind over matter. You tell yourself you're going to be tired. Guess what? You're going to be tired.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is mind over matter. It's one I know for a fact it's mind over matter, because it's also the knowledge of that you've got stuff to do. Like, I know I'm gonna feel tired because I know I got to get up, get a shower, go to the gym, get dressed, maybe walk to the office, and then spend 8 hours somewhere where I really would rather be somewhere else. That's what makes you feel tired sometimes. Not even the sleep, but you think it's the sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, but like on the weekend when I've had less sleep, but I got up and I know the only place I got to go today is the lounge, I'm sound.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Yeah, right.
That's the thing on sleep, and that's one of the one we want to talk about, because we were like, don't get me wrong, I believe it's well important.
Yeah,
I know how good for you sleep is. I'm not knocking sleep. Sleep
and I know,
is so important.
Yeah, like, and I know from tracking it, I know when my sleep is good, how much better I feel that day. But yeah, and it's the same with all fads, isn't it? It's like, it gets to like, you do these fads because you want to improve some area of your life, yeah. But then it gets to this point where, because there's so many and there's so many different variations, there's so much conflicting advice, it's almost like you don't know which one is good for you, or you beat yourself up because you're not doing one of the many fads on your list that you've got to do. Morning routine, then I've got to go do a 7-minute cold plunge in the garage, then I've got to walk 10,000 steps while staring at the sun to get sunlight in my eyes. You know what I mean? And I'm only at 10 o'clock. Then I've got the rest of the day. I've got 10 other fads I've got to do before I get to bed.
Literally, mate. And it's a double-edged sword, because you've worn yourself out, which is not good for you. And you do that nice and early when you try and stick to so many things.
Yeah.
A, and B, you feel disheartened when you don't achieve something, which isn't good.
Yeah.
So if you're not ticking things off the list, you start to get annoyed.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. There are a few fads that stuck. Like for me, again, morning routine, but no, actually, getting up early, not have the morning routine part I play with and I change about, but just getting up at the same time every day, including weekends, is one of the best things that's actually stuck. But the morning routine part, again, it's like that's one where you can get stuck in that fad where you've got like wake up, you have to down a glass of lemon salt water, you've got to meditate for 10 minutes, stretch for 10 minutes, and this is all stuff I've tried to do. I can't drink coffee for 90 minutes because it's not good for your adrenal system. Don't know what that means. You know what I mean? There's so many things. Then I've got a journal and write 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things I want to go well that day.
Don't forget, you have to get out in the sunlight and get fresh air.
Don't forget that. Yeah, I stare at the sun for 10 minutes before I'm allowed back inside.
Because you need natural light before you go on to
Yeah,
any other
yeah.
type of light.
So like, I guess I listen to this new guy now called Alex Hormozy, and he's like really accomplished, doing really well, like sprung like quick rise to fame recently the last year or so. And he's quite like no nonsense with this stuff. He's super productive. He gets up early. He's in the gym and nutrition world and that, but he doesn't kind of have any time for these fads and things. Like with diet, he's like, I keep it very simple. Make sure I hit my protein target. I know what my calories are for the day, and once I hit my protein target, I can eat whatever I want as long as it's in the calories. I'm not fussed about keto, Mediterranean, carnivore and fruit. And he's like, it's sustainable. I've been able to do it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm in shape. I've had a 6-pack for 10 years. You know, it's like and that's where I think you can get lost. Like, I'm a sucker for diets. I always think there's a better diet out there for me, so I try everything. Whereas like, I could probably I know what works well for me. I know I feel better on a lower carb diet.
Right.
And I always, like, I've known that now for like 2 years. I just feel better. But I'm still like, no, what if it's something else?
Yeah.
What if there's a slightly better
Yeah.
diet? You know, what if I could just add this and it makes it better?
I think, let's go on to diet. Diet's such a good one because there is information about every do's and don'ts. Every diet is wrong and every diet is correct in the eyes of these people on Instagram or social media.
And it's become like a cult following where like vegan, carnivore meat,
vegetables kill you.
Yes.
Why do they kill you? Well, think about it. Then they're flowers, really. So they want to survive. So they have these defense chemicals inside them so animals don't eat them. So evolution has gone on. Vegetables have poisonous chemicals. So when animals come to eat them, they actually deter away from eating them. But we eat them, and we've become so used to them that we can't tell that they're killing us. So we eat these vegetables, not knowing they're actually killing us because we're eating the defense chemicals of this organism. That's what they say.
Death by vegetable on the death certificate.
And it's like, mate, what? Really?
Yeah.
But then other people are like, okay, even if that's happening, we're defo used to it by now.
Yeah. No, it's so conflicting. And it's like, there's healthy vegans, there's healthy carnivores, there's healthy people that eat Mediterranean diets. Like, everybody has their own examples of healthy people within their diet. Everyone has examples of unhealthy people within the opposite diet that they don't follow. So it's just like, you can't really win. I really do, like, I've experimented with a lot of diets and that, mostly for performance. Like, I just have this in my mind that it's something you have to do, so optimize it. But it's so individualized. Like, what works for me is probably very different to what works for you.
Sure.
And like, what works for, so you get somebody who tries a vegan diet and it works really well for them, so they then think, well, that must be the case for everybody, so I'm going to promote this as this is the diet that you should go on. But it's actually just their body responds very well to being on a vegan diet. I went on a vegan diet, nearly killed me. Didn't nearly kill me. I did it like 2 weeks before one of my ultra marathons, and I nearly, on the day, I got the worst severe cramps in my legs. I couldn't run. I was like, I finished the race, but it was brutal, horrible. And it was just like, it wasn't for me. Maybe I needed more of an adjusting period, but 2 weeks I thought was pretty. Normally it's like 30 days for me that I'll know whether it's going to work. But yeah, like it's just very individualized.
Yeah.
Not one size fits all.
No, 100% agree. We've both dabbled with our diets. I was vegan for maybe 3 months. 3 months, sorry, I didn't eat meat for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I
because you were
hate-
veggie and then full vegan for a little bit.
Yeah, in the middle of being a veggie, I tried vegan. I fucking hated it, mate. I was getting all this plastic cheese and that I was probably definitely not good for you. I was just thinking, I was just buying loads of like vegan takeaways because I didn't know how to cook. I wasn't culinarily skilled. And then I know all like the junk food that's vegan, like Cocoa Pops, Oreos and stuff like that. I was just living off that. It ain't good for you. So I was like, I'm sacking this off, man. Because again, you have to be quite well off to live a diet.
Yeah.
I liked being a vegetarian, but that was mainly for just like the death of animals, not for actual
Health reasons.
Health reasons.
And you're back eating a little bit of meat now?
Yeah, no, I'm back eating a bit of meat. I'll eat steak now.
Do you feel any different? Like health-wise, do you feel a bit more energy? You're hitting the gym quite hard now.
Yeah. I think it depends on what I eat. Like, I'm still very aware of, like, not really liking, like mince, burgers and that. I ate a burger the other day and I had a headache for hours. I don't know if that was the result of doing that or what, but it was like, I like it though. Do you know what, actually, saying that what I have noticed is my enjoyment. And I prefer my enjoyment a lot more than anything else. I like eating foods that I
Satisfying.
the satisfaction of eating stuff that you enjoy. Sometimes beats whatever's going on inside.
Yeah,
It really don't matter. Like, to me, my new diet rules is this, man. Eat what you want, enjoy it. Don't eat anything with too much sugar in it. Sugar's definitely bad, so just steer away from that. Don't only consume red meat. Don't be eating scabby little bits of meat that are obvious they're not good for you. Bacon and stuff like that. Sausages, where it's just anything that's super processed, try to stay away from. So I'll eat steaks and stuff like that, whether that's the right move or not. But I just know, don't overconsume things that are bad for you. Have a little now and then, a little.
Yeah.
I'm gonna test that.
That's the problem. Like, yeah, I've done, like, it's knowing what's good or bad for you. Like, even then you said red meat, and like red meat is, like, they say really bad for you. But now there's conflicting advice. That Carnivore MD says it's absolutely fine for you. It's recommended over other meat. Because I'm actually doing that meat and fruit diet, and I have to say, like, it's been class. This will be my 4th week.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
You're a good little chef, though, man. I seen that photo of you. What did you post the other day? I mean, I seen it. I was like, I want to
The
eat
ribeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the fruit.
The bone stick now.
Yeah.
That was
Ribber
beautiful.
beef.
That looked
Yeah.
beautiful.
It
How
was
did you
good.
cook that?
Sear it first, get a nice colour to it, and then you pop it in the oven till it gets to like 140, I think, medium rare is off the top of my head, something like that. And then, let it rest. But it's class. Like, that dinner was absolutely beautiful. I had ribber beef, some fresh mango, avocado, hot sauce, and honey. And it's like just a healthy, you just feel clean eating it.
You do.
I felt so clean. And like, for breakfast, I eat a lot of meat. So it's a whole pack of mincemeat with 3 eggs, which is like 90 grams of protein. So you're getting most of your protein there. And then dinner, I'll have 2 meats usually. And then I have in the day 2 bananas and a mango. So I get like 50 to 80 grams of carbs, which is, for me, is in like a good sweet spot. And then, quite a bit of meat. But yeah, I do feel good. It's clean. I'm eating clean. There's no like, it's really convenient. You don't really have to think. You're just eating meat and fruit. So it's like, you're not really doing much, like loads of ingredients, cooking and that. Convenient throughout the week. Haven't felt like I wanted a cheat day.
No.
No, I had like a bit of banana bread the other day when Megan made some, but I've had chocolate sweets in the house and I've not touched them, whereas usually I've got a little bit of a craving and I'll have a cheat day on a Sunday or whatever. Not had that.
No, good for you. I find that's always a telltale sign. It's how your body feels going through its like digestion period.
Yeah.
I get hit with some things, mate, where I start yawning. I'm so sleepy because I just ate something scummy.
Yeah, pasta and that is supposed to be like, have a lot of carbohydrates. Like, that's what it's supposed to do to you. Makes you feel sluggish, tired. That's where it's like that after lunch slump where you get that 3-4 o'clock and you're like,
That slump, I hate that slump.
see, I'm alright with that. I don't get that.
You don't get it.
No. But yeah, no, diet's an interesting one. Again, there is so many fads, but I do think once one is good to experiment, because small changes to your diet can make a big difference. Like for me, when I cut down on carbs, first time I tried the low carb diet was a game changer. A lot of like my stomach issues or just like general energy levels just felt well better. Um, so like I've realised just by tweaking that was a little bit better.
So it sounds like experimentation, personal experimentation's a big thing.
Yeah, I think it is, but I think like we were saying before, it's a balance. Like I could probably not, I probably get 80% of my results from making sure sticking to my basic exercise routine. I don't need to have this crazy running and like gym, like all just a simple exercise routine would probably do it. Getting some decent sleep and eating some half decent food, I'd probably feel like 80% of the results, whereas the last tweaks are probably coming from like optimizing and stuff like that. But
There you go. So that's our fad. That's our answer, is that I believe, what these people are saying online, some of them could be right, some of them could be wrong. They're always going to be biased and believe what they're saying. For you to make a decision instead of just taking their word as gospel is to a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of personal reflection, a little bit of experimentation,
yeah,
and make your mind up from there. Because like you said, things are personalized.
and I guess it's like where you starting out on your journey, and like I'd say like compared to like a beginner at the gym, yeah, there's the exercises referred to as the compound lifts. There's like 3 or 4 basic exercises that if you want to start in the gym, they're going to get you like 80% of the results because it's just the basics. It works most of the muscle groups. Start with that and you're going to see progress pretty much instantly. And I think it's the same with like self-help, personal development. If you're at the beginning of your journey, focus on the basics that we just discussed. If you're been in it for a while, you've got your diet, your sleep and that locked down, exercise locked down, then start with these fads like increasing your steps, that's quite a basic one, but getting sunlight in, cold baths, those types of stuff, that's all in the optimized phase, I think.
Yeah. And you may not realize that you need all of them.
Yeah,
you only needed 1 or 2 for a good improvement.
Yeah. We've said that before, haven't we? We've tried loads of stuff and not like there's only a handful of things that have actually stuck.
Yeah. Like one of the worst things I remember is I'm like you, a morning early rise is essential for me to have a good day. If I get up late, worst day ever. I cannot think, talk, can't articulate myself properly. The fuzz doesn't leave. But what I was trying to say is, for a while, my morning routine was fucking me up because I was doing too many things before going to work, and then I was dying at work, and it was because I was trying to improve too many things in the morning. I wanted to do 4 things before work started instead of 1. Now I just do 1, and when work comes, and I don't 1 as in an activity. I'll try to get outside on the balcony. I'll definitely get a cold shower. But I won't do loads of vigorous different things. I won't go to the gym and try read and try get a guitar lesson in. Do you know what I mean? Because it just.
Mate, I've been there as well. It's so easy to do. But you do that. You do all that stuff and then you scale it back. You realise.
It's a trial and error. It's a trial and error though.
Yeah.
So just don't get disheartened. I think our message is like, if you're a sucker for self-help videos like we have been, or
I still
yeah, even if you're overwhelmed with the abundance of knowledge that's thrown out there, what should I listen to, what shouldn't I listen to, then just listen to Ben and Josh.
Clubhouse episode 11.
I think on that note, should we do it?
But good, wrap it up. Nice one.
Happy days.